The guy on the line right now, he's a bad man.
Just heard the highlights there, courtesy of ESPN, and a guy who also knows something about being a big man on a defensive line. Coming up with some big plays, one of the great defensive dogs of all time, Richard Seymour, joins us now on the WadeFord.com hotline. How stoked are you? How excited are you, Richard?
I had a long night. I don't know how much rest I got last night. I woke up kind of groggy, but feels good to be a dog, huh?
It does. I mean, listen, for dog fans, for, the alums and folks that follow this program all these years, obviously, you played on some great teams, obviously guys that we know that have gone there and played, whether it was, whether Coach Rick or guys before that.
But Jim Donnan back in the day.
But to see this, and have an opportunity that's in front of them right now, it really is incredible. Hey, Richard, speaking of the block by Lorenzo Carter, we said this early in the year. Defense still wins, man. And despite the fact that you gave up some big plays, I'm talking about the Dogs yesterday in that game, in the second half, they did an excellent job of limiting the big plays. I saw a stat where, like, Baker Mayfield, he was averaging like 8 yards a pop when he was throwing the football. During the season, he was getting, 15, 20 yards a pop. They really did a great job in the second half.
Yeah, no, they really did. I just thought I say it all the time. I thought they played with a lot of game character. I thought, no matter the situation, and I know Coach Kirby says it all the time, they just kept chopping. They never gave up. And I think at the end of the day, when I'm really looking at players and I'm evaluating talent, I always look for guys that when it's in the fourth quarter and you could be losing by 20 or losing by 30, you're not looking at the scoreboard. You want guys on your team that's just going to fight to the end no matter what. And that's what this team, that's what Kirby's brought here. I think they compete. And at the end of the day, that's really what sports are all about. Like, you have to have the will to compete, and I think he's instilled that, and that's what he's brought in terms of his personnel, and that's his thumbprint on this football team. And makes me proud to be a dog, for sure.
And that's the thing, Richard. We talked about it. Randy McMichael works here at the station. All the guys that you played with, Stroud and Seymour with a great combination, all that. There's always been the talent. It just seems now and moving forward, Georgia is going to maximize that talent with Kirby and his crew.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's funny. I played with Kirby, for I think maybe 2 years, 1 or 2 years. I think I was maybe a freshman, sophomore. He was junior and senior leaving. And you always knew he, was a very competitive guy. I teased him a couple times. Like, he wasn't a super athlete, but he was always going to be where he was supposed to be and make the right plays. So, and like I said, I think he has the team playing that exact same way. And, I just think he's put together a really good coaching staff, and obviously having a lot more talent coming in over the course of the next couple of years with the recruits that we have as well. So I definitely say the future's bright.
You were the 6th overall pick in 2001 in the NFL draft. The Dogs going to send some guys to the NFL in this upcoming draft. We know that. And you look back, what was your favorite time? I mean, at Georgia, what was a moment that you remember? Because there are guys on this team that, won't go on to prominent NFL careers, and they're living it right now at the collegiate level. You obviously were lucky enough to do it at the big level. But what's the moment for you that you remember as a Dog?
Well, I think it's the people and the relationships that you form over the course of time. I mean, it's, I always said when I came to Georgia and I played in my first game, I was 17 years old, really just a young puppy at that time, fresh out of high school, didn't redshirt, probably should have redshirted, but right. I didn't. And, but I always go back. It's people now that I still have those same relationships with, and, I'm close to 40 at this point. So, it's lifelong friends, some really great people that I've met. I just think for me at that time in my life, just being a young man and, able to, come to Athens and, just that family experience and that family bond that you just really can't put a price tag on.
One of the best defensive dogs of all time. It is Richard Seymour with us here on the WadeFord.com hotline. 7-time Pro Bowler, and he was a 3-time Super Bowl champ with the Patriots. He joins us here on the WadeFord.com hotline. We'll talk some NFL in a second with you, Richard. It still hurts from February. But speaking?
Yeah, it's funny. I had a lot of family and friends over to the house here. We live here in Swanee, Georgia. So it's kind of, obviously right between Atlanta, a close ride down to my dogs as well in Athens. But I had a lot of family and friends over to the house for the Super Bowl, and I'm telling you, I mean, halftime, it was going nuts, and then you could just start to feel it starting to change. So I understand your pain. I won't say anything about it. I'll say that. I'll leave it alone.
Thanks, Richard. Hey, what am I going to do? You kick my butt anyway if I didn't want you to. What about the defensive line of Alabama? We've been talking a lot about that, and now they're not as healthy as they were last year, but the linebacker core is coming back. That defense was insane last night against Clemson.
Yeah, no, they were. I mean, when you just look at the Alabama players, I mean, they look like monsters and machines. I mean, when you think about how you want a team to be built, I mean, you kind of look at Alabama. I mean, they've been the blueprint for so many years of excellence and well-coached ball club. They do things the right way. They're smart. They don't beat themselves. They have, five-star athletes everywhere. So, it's just it's a tough combination. I mean, they've been the bar. And I think, like I said, obviously for Georgia, it's, what you're trying to achieve, and you got an opportunity come Monday night.
Well, Richard, it is going to be exciting. There's no doubt. You got plans for the game, by the way? You going to spend some loot and go to the game? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still debating on how we're gonna work it all out. Actually, we're leaving for the Bahamas tomorrow, me and my wife, but my kids are gonna be back here, so I'm just trying to finagle it. Obviously, I'll be in the house. I'm just trying to figure out when I'm coming back in town and that sort of thing. But it's one of the ones that I definitely can't miss.
All right, big guy. And by the way, while we got you, we'll ask. They're going to maybe lose the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. I mean, will there ever be an end to the Belichick run? Does that end when Tom Brady walks away?
Well, it's a good problem to have. I mean, I think, obviously always winning, you hate to see coaches go, but that's just a part of the process. New guys come in, and every team's always different. You're always getting young talent coming in, players coming in, free agents, draft picks, and, guys are maturing to different roles. And, that's just a part of the business of the NFL. Even, you go back to, Georgia, they're going to lose some guys. They're going to, whether it's the draft picks and coaches with the transition. And, you hate to see guys go, but, that's part of the business that we signed up for. So, I think the best always learn how to deal and to get replacements and build a program. And when you build a program, it's not, about 1 year here or there, or not about just one specific guy. Obviously, you need your leader, but after that, I think you try to set a tone in what you're trying to build. And I think, Kirby's doing it the right way.
Where are your Super Bowl rings, man? You keep them hidden? What do you do? You wear them?
Actually, it's funny. I don't ever really bring them out. Actually, so now I play poker, right?
Okay.
And so I play poker tournaments, and I don't play any cash games, but I play poker tournaments really all across the world. And a lot of my friends in the poker industry, they always like, hey, can I see? So this summer I ended up bringing one of my rings out, and it was my card protector at the World Series of Poker. So
cool.
That's really the only time I brung it out in maybe 5 years.
Okay.
So I got them locked up in the safe.
Nice. I was going to say we can case his house. He's out in the Bahamas, Carl. But anyway, all right, Richard. As always, bro, we always love you jumping on the show. Don't be a stranger, man. Have a happy New Year.
No, for sure. Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate you, man. Enjoy the Bahamas.
Anytime. Thank you so much.
All right, my man.
Sweet.
Richard Seymour.
He's one of those guys.
Good damn dog.
Come out of the water with like 2 dolphins under each arm. But anyway, yeah, man. It's if you go back, Carl, and you look, that goes back to the conversation we were having. How many times you and I had the conversation about maximizing the talent? Stroud, Seymour. Think about the Baileys, all the guys that Donnan had, and you think about, man, how do you not win championships with all those guys? But now Georgia, hopefully in the championship business. First things first, take out Alabama.